Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research, because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
Okay, the importance of sharing out the show, guys. First time your page has come up on my feed in over 6 months. This is what we're up against, guys. We all know it. The censorship is mad, but, that's something we're going to be dealing with. We're dealing with a bit further, which I'll get onto in a minute, because we are in a spot of bother here with this digital ID stuff. But let's go through a few things before we even get there. Let's run around the traps of Australia, and then I'll look, ABC to discontinue the Q&A program after 18 years. Now, I believe that the ABC should be defunded. Get my point first, okay? But funny that they're knocking out the Q&A program, which is the one where the public do get to go in there. They seem to be able to cut the shit down, and then we expose them, and it doesn't look good. So I think they're just peeling off the programs that we can be effective on, guys. That would be my thought there. But yeah, no great love lost to see them go. Right. Millions at risk of world's most infectious disease after, listen to it, one patient visits the second biggest country. So look out, guys. Someone had the flu and they went to a country, and, mate, now the world is in panic. They would like you to believe anyway. Now, this I love. Although I do love the theatre and I do love the arts. Me and Mel went to the theatre once. Didn't we go to the theatre once? Once. But anyway, go woke, go broke. Sydney Theatre Company donations drop. Good. I hope they keep dropping. All right, yeah, what a shame. You want to go woke, you can go broke. You know, a lot of people have proved it already. I don't see why you're continuing the... So now we've got a COVID study, all right, in America, obviously. This is NBC. But, COVID study shows another reason to get vaccinated, to protect your kidneys, guys. So, there's a lot of reasons that, you should be, lining up for these things, eh? Now, they're trying to fear you again, but multiple states, urgent recall on fruit sold in multiple states that could kill if eaten. Now, guys, I'm just going to put it out there. As I said, me and Mel buy our stuff from a farm over the mountain. We've got our shit together. We're doing our best we can. But, yeah, guys, just, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Expect anything. Expect the unexpected, because these guys just Yeah, love to bring it on, don't they? So, all right. So America's hotting up. We've had the Democrats, shoot a couple of their own people over there is probably what we'd believe, okay, after they didn't vote the right way. And now we got, a cop shot down in Tassie. Looks a little bit sus. Let's see where that goes over the next 48 hours or so, guys. But that was to take back a property. And he got shot in the driveway. So I can smell the trains, actually, guys. But anyway, let's see where it goes. I won't say too much at the moment. But it's funny how, Auburn, we had a shooting today at the kebab shop. Yet all these people getting shot. It's all over the news. They're using it as a weapon against us, to cause distrust within communities, etc., etc. People getting shot, all this crap going on. Yet, and I watched a couple of things on Charles McKenzie and Franco had on today. All right, and well done, guys, back up there. You're just legends. 50 weeks today up at the governor. So, guys, we got to be the difference. And I'm sorry, I'm not there at the moment, but I'm not there at the moment. Okay, but one day I shall be. Now, yet, isn't it funny how we can kick up a stink about all this bullshit, murders? Come in whenever you're ready, Cazza, right? And all this crap that's going on. Yet we have people like, good old Carl Stefanovic, Carl, and we've got that Jessica, whoever she is, and you got to not stop moving, Caz. Ellie Langdon, Ben Fordham. What about all the innocent people that got killed by the shots that you guys were promoting? How come you never promote that? How come it's always a murder here and a murder there, and it's trying to put us into dis-ease with people in the community when our own government and our own heads of the media actually coerced everyone into getting these fucking shots? It's killing everybody. It's just got a bit off tap, Cazza. But there's a lot going on. 60 Minutes, more scandal there with adoption. If anyone saw a bit of 60 Minutes on Sunday night, I happened to watch a bit of it because I saw a clip and I thought, oh, have a look at that. Guys, it's been going on for a long time. All right, and we're here to stop it, aren't we? That's our job. Is to stop it. Stop it in its fucking tracks because it is just gone too far. They're slipping you into a digital ID now down a funnel, guys, and most of the
I have to take it off. They're all complaining. Now I'm going to freeze. Thank you.
That's all right. Just think nice thoughts. You'll be nice. Think warm. You're in Queensland. Kaz is on location in Queensland. She's coming from far north Queensland, Cairns tonight. Beautiful weather up there. Balmy 30 degrees, and she is loving it. All right, Kaz, how you going?
Good. Look, we have had lots of stuff happening, especially around this weekend. We've got, first of all, we kick it off. Wade was in Ballarat protesting for helping the fireys protest.
Wade Northhausen here for Billboard Battalion. Yeah, we're back on the case here with the fireys and farmers protest here in Ballarat in the Central Highlands of Victoria. So we're just seeing everybody coming back here. So they've been down around. They've left Victoria Park here. They've gone down into the town and done a fair bit of touring around in the town. I do believe there's been a few pumps been started up and a bit of water squirting around in the middle of Ballarat. So I think it's fair to say that the no sirens thing. I think it's fair to say the no sirens thing is now dead in the water. That's over and done with.
Yep, they were using their sirens. So, look, next up we've got Charles and Franco. They're outside of the notorious, allegedly notorious, what is it? Cruz, Reverend Cruz.
Bill Cruz, Reverend Bill Cruz.
180 Liverpool Road, Ashfield. And this is the Rev Bill Cruz Foundation. Okay, so the Rev Bill Cruz Foundation is this charity for the homeless and the vulnerable here in Sydney, and it's connected to the Uniting Church here in Ashfield. Now, Reverend Bill Cruz is the guy that runs this thing, and it's very interesting because we've spoken about him before on the podcast, haven't we, Franco?
We have indeed, mate. Yeah.
And his organisation used to be called the Exodus Foundation.
Correct.
Right, before it had a name change during COVID, so it's now simply the Rev Bill Cruz Foundation.
That's correct.
And that coincided with the opening
Yeah.
of a vaccine hub. In fact, Bill Cruz was putting out media stories during COVID saying he's a real loudmouth about vaccinating the homeless with these COVID injections. Well, as we now know, Franco, these COVID injections are associated with mass harm and mass death of Australians.
Well, we've now got our plate, haven't we, Charles?
That's right. And so what they were doing was during COVID, right, they were basically coercing, this Red Bill Cruise Foundation were coercing the homeless and the hungry by saying your ticket to freedom, okay, was by taking one of these dangerous injections. Well, guess what? Here we're holding a plate that's symbolic. Here we've got a pillow, madam, just busy at the moment. Here we have a plate that's symbolic of the offer for if you're homeless or you're poor in Australia today, the Reverend Bill Cruise Foundation and others, which, let's face it, this Reverend Bill Cruise Foundation, if you go looking, you'll find out it's just the New South Wales Health Department in disguise, right?
So in order to have some fruit, you need to take a couple of those with some mRNA and graphene oxide, right? And we've got a few more because you'll need some boosters as well.
Yeah,
and if you're a volunteer too, Charles.
So if you have a look up the Reverend Bill Cruise Foundation, we'll put a link to this in the show links, right? You'll see that you can't even volunteer. I mean, there are many people who volunteer. Australia's got a long history of wonderful voluntary work, but now organisations like the Rev Bill Cruise Foundation are saying you have to have had all of your COVID injections.
Unbelievable. You know, Dave, you're on mute.
Sorry, I had a bike come past. That's your charities, guys. We all know, we're now well awake, all those people, even me, when I was young, living at mum's place and that. When the salvos come around, guys, you went to your room, you grabbed the change you could afford to give them, and you went and gave it to them. It was just a logical thing to do. We were that brainwashed, but now we're a lot wiser, aren't we? Right? And you'll find that most of these charities, guys, right, or all of these charities, all of these NGOs, right, are corrupt to the core. They are only there to... Anyway, I won't get myself in.
Well, we've got a fair bit of news on the actual jibby jabby thing. I hope we don't get taken down. First of all, we've got this study that is 184 million people in all have been studied. Check this out.
We have conducted over 20 scientific studies, all published in the peer-reviewed literature now, exposing the harms of these shots. And I'll go over some of the most glaring ones. And so one of our studies, a systematic review of autopsy findings and deaths after COVID-19 vaccination, actually proved a causal link between these mRNA shots and death. And so what Brazil's doing, they're putting these kids at risk of death. A study by Alessandria and colleagues found a 37% life expectancy reduction in those who received 2 or more doses. And so they're reducing the life expectancy of these kids. And it's just an absolute disaster. We now know a few recent studies that are absolutely shocking. So we have the first and we have the second largest COVID-19 vaccine safety studies ever conducted. The first one, 99 million people in it, they found 500% increased risks of myocarditis, about 300% increased risks of spinal cord inflammation. And then we have Guillain-Barré syndrome in that study. So that study proved it wasn't safe for human use. And then we have last week the second largest study with 85 million people in it just came out. They found 300% increased risks of heart attacks, strokes, arrhythmias, and coronary artery disease.
It just goes on. And then on top of it, you've got Kevin McKernan. He's a geomist. And Dave, I'll let you talk about it, and then I'll play him.
Which one's this case? Sorry?
I've got somebody who studies genomes, and he's made discoveries about the vaccine as well. So
I'll play it, and then I'll comment. Yeah, bring it on.
What we do have evidence for are these plasmids are in there without any question now. This has been replicated in many places around the world, and there are consequences for having these residual pieces of DNA left inside the vaccines that we're going to touch on. This is not conspiracy theory. This has been published in the BMJ by Retzef Levy, and they go through this process where they ran these vaccines in the trial and how they changed that when they decided to go and inject the rest of the world. This is traditionally a mortal sin in vaccine manufacturing or in any sort of biologic manufacturing. The process is the product. You change the process, you have to go through trials again. And the EMA even asked them to do that, although they failed to. They asked for another trial of 250 people once they changed the process, and that data was never delivered. So this bait and switch is very important for you to understand why the trial data is of absolute zero consequence to what we're actually seeing in the field. Those numbers are a caricature of what they're actually doing with these injections.
And why aren't they arrested?
Why aren't they? And yeah, as for, genome targeting and that, guys, they've got it all. Just go and look at the patents. Go and look them up. If that's what Caz was pointing to before, they can target specific DNAs, etc., right? They have capabilities. Guys, this is probably going to get worse than any of us ever thought, you know what I mean, in places, right? Hopefully not here in Australia. But we are going to see what's going down. They've already started over in 2 countries I heard of today where they're mandating, mate, you don't get your kids the first vaccines, you don't get out of hospital. They're going back to the old ways, and they're really starting to push it. So they're in panic mode. They know they're falling apart, Caz. We know there's things going on in the background. We got people in LA, guys, showing up clips that there is no riots there. There's a couple of hundred people.
We've got that. Yeah, we've got that.
Let's go into it because this media.
Well, can we just finish this segment first? All right. So on that, you've got Slay, and they're reporting that a major study. So there's massive metallic objects being found in the bodies of COVID vax. Now, when we talk, we're up to 70 grams, and they're attaching to different parts of the body. And
how much mercury? How much mercury is allowed in the body, guys? 0%. 0%.
Yeah, it's called iatrogenic magnetism. Okay, so it's just crazy. Then on top of that, you've got the worst cancer rates in Australia. So it's really bad. Then on top of that, you've got this poor old lady here. Now, she was 82 years old and had never received a blood transfusion, was not sexually active, and tested HIV positive after the flu vaccine. And then on top of that, you've still got Terry White, and they're still vaccinating.
It's Terry White, chemist, where they do COVID vaccinations. And here's a gentleman here, just leaving in the ambulance. Here we go. I won't put the gentleman's face on, obviously. There you go. Here's a couple of ambulances. I hope the man's going to be all right. This goes on all the time.
Goes on all the time.
Saying 30-40% death increase in highly vaccinated countries by years 5 to 6. Get ready. Yeah, we've been saying that since this whole thing come on. You're right there, bloke. They told us what we were looking at in terms of mass destruction. And unfortunately, that is the terminology that actually suits, mass destruction, guys, of our communities, of our cities, of our lifestyles, of everything. It is serious shit.
I'll just get through these first. So we've got chemtrails. Yeah, no, one of the things that's great is people are starting to put together reports. And this is a chemtrail report from Brisbane and then Newcastle.
Okay.
Hey guys, Dean from Freedom Fighters. Just looking up at the skies today. They don't look beautiful, so natural, but not really. But have a look from a few different views. That's just behind me. Look up here. So they're streaking it. Different angle again. You can see where they start and they finish. It's very obvious, and there's some going the other way. Chemtrails, obviously done by planes.
And then this one's from Newcastle.
Yeah, they've been hitting us all day.
Just crazy, isn't it? So
yeah, it is. It is. It's absolutely just Whoever thought we'd get here when I was 20-year-old growing up, having a great life.
All right, now here's what Dave was talking about. So first of all, there's this video here.
Look, see, look at this. Look it. Come on, look what's going on. What you doing? Look it. There is nothing here. Here's the big park that everybody goes to. See, there's...
So that's Tina from Who Lives in LA. Nothing going
Yep.
on there. And then you've got Stormy Joe, who walks through a crowd of probably about 100 people with a MAGA hat on.
Yep, there they are.
He gets one response where somebody says something nasty to him, and then the other response is somebody apologising to him. Like, so...
The only filter there is paid actors or nuppies. That's it.
Well, that's it. There's a lot of really suspicious things going on too, because like, look, this is true. Like, look at the military parade. Like, they didn't march like soldiers do, and that was so small. Where's all the equipment we saw being loaded? So that tells me that there is indeed a background operation, and they're doing something else, and this is all distraction. And what's interesting is at the end of the military fireworks, he played the V for Vendetta song.
Wouldn't it be good if the show was about to end? But I don't think it is. Not just yet.
I don't know. Look, we've got the flyers, and we've also got the convoy to Convoy Caz to Canberra. So I'll bring on the Convoy Caz to Canberra first, and then we'll go to the flyers.
And the details for the Freedom Unites Cairns to Canberra parade are as follows. Thursday, the 26th of June, Cairns and the Northern Converge on Townsville. Friday, the 27th of June, 7 a.m, Townsville to Serena. Friday the 27th of June, 2 p.m. to 5:30 p.m, Serena to North Rockhampton. Saturday the 28th of June, 6 a.m, Rockhampton Caves to Gympie. Saturday the 28th of June, 1 to 5, Gympie to Toowoomba. Friday the 4th of July, 7 a.m, Plainlands Mobile to Armidale. Friday the 4th of July, 1:30 p.m. to 5 p.m, Armidale to Singleton. Friday the 4th of July, 7 a.m, Gold Coast to Singleton. Saturday the 5th of July, 7 a.m, Singleton to Pheasants Nest. And Saturday the 5th of July, 2 to 4:30 p.m, Pheasants Nest to Canberra at Epic. All small towns will be stopped along the way, and lunch is also organised en route.
Well done, Jody.
Get
I've also
behind
got
it
a
if
cut.
you can, guys. Yep. See what you can do, right? We just all got to keep working. Okay. All right. We just got to keep working, keep moving forward, keep the public awareness. All right. That there are things wrong. All right. That's our job. So yeah, let's get it. Let's get on it. All right. And do what you can, guys. You know the trip. Yeah. You know the route. If you can help, please help.
Yeah, and I do apologise, Jody. I've got another one to cut for you where you were, but I need some time to actually cut it. Now, also just on that, Jackie's put out a request. She needs plaintiffs. She said, if you want to stand up for your country, now is the time. They have all of the cases prepared. They just need plaintiffs in order to attach them so that they can enter them into the High Court. I do have the list, but again, I didn't get a chance to actually cut that down. Yep. So, but that is on the agenda. She needs that. So guys, please think about becoming a plaintiff, because we all suffered. We all qualify under this. All right. Now,
no, I agree.
Did you want to,
yeah, I was just going to comment on that. Look, darling, I'm as confused as what you are, Jay. So confused as what you would be, Jay. Why hasn't it stopped, mate? You're dead right. You know what I mean? Why have the chemtrails not stopped in America and everywhere else? You know what I mean? So, yeah, all you can do is put your trust in the good Lord, mate, because I can't answer the question for you. I just can't. You know what I mean? Why are they still going? Why are they still going here? You know, why isn't there thousands of people outside the airports where we know they're doing this, you know? Why not? Hopefully one day soon there will be.
All right, let's pick on the flyers.
And the Mondays at Maggie's crew is calling for tools down. It's time to stand together. A corrupt and tyrannical government is crushing industries, stripping freedoms and silencing voices. This affects every worker and every business. New South Wales under a corrupt government. Enough is enough. We won't stay silent and we demand action. So join us every Monday at the Governor's House in Sydney at 11 a.m. And on Mondays, don't forget Mondays at Maggie's, the Frank and Charles podcast. They will be hitting the streets this week. Mondays at Maggie's. And in Victoria, we have the following events. In Melbourne, gather at the Governor's every Saturday to end the tyranny. 10 a.m. every Saturday at the Governor Gates. And the FUCCP page is up and running. Freedom Unites Cairns to Canberra Parade. The first leg is on Friday to Sunday, Townsville to Toowoomba, 27th to the 29th of June. The second leg will be Friday to Sunday, the 4th to the 6th of July, from Toowoomba to Canberra. And then will be a Stop the Chemtrailing March. Gather at Hyde Park Fountain in Sydney at 12 p.m. on Saturday the 21st of June 2025 and march to the Governor's House from Hyde Park at 1 p.m. with guest speakers with open mic, so come along and have your say. And Dissection has more news and awards and finalists in the following festivals. Documentaries Without Borders Film Festival on September the 14th. It is official selection. Impact Docs Awards, California, USA official selection for Best Documentary finalist, which will be on August the 12th, 2025. And the White Rose International Film Festival in Yorkshire, UK. Official selection for Best Documentary finalist, Best Cinematography runner-up. That date is on August 9th, 2025. And in the vein of Sun Tzu, Know Thy Enemy, the Anti-Corruption Academy is hosting an event on Saturday the 21st of June 2025. The venue will be at the Rocky Sports Club, 1 Lion Creek Road, Wandell, Rockhampton, 8 a.m. for an 8:30 start to 5 p.m. approximately. The cost is $45 and this includes morning tea. Lunch will be on order at the bistro. And join the Justice of the People in Melbourne every Sunday at 4:30 p.m. for a remembrance at the Shrine of Remembrance, lest we forget. A daily prayer space is held on X at 3 p.m. So whatever you're facing, come along and we can lift you up in prayer. Every day, 3 p.m. on X. Melissa 146233923.
Don't forget Albo's importance too, Caz. He doesn't get a meet until Wednesday, you know, like if he even gets one. Probably a load of bullshit too.
Dear me. Well, Look, here's Matt Camazuli, Matt, who ran as an independent in the last election. He's actually made this comment with regards to the Prepare for 50% Power bill, Jolt, and that is Australia is an energy resource superpower. How does the cost of energy in Western Australia go up by 50%? The jokers in charge need to be fired, all of them. Well, yes.
Oh, yeah.
But on top of that, you've got this Aussie mum's $1,200 electricity bill, shock sparks, warning for millions. It's just outrageous. Yes, it is outrageous. Yes,
Yep.
we know that. Then you have on top of that, you've got Russia reaping 1.85 billion in tax for fuel shipped to Australia. Why do we need fuel? Interesting, isn't it?
I wonder why we need fuel off Russia, right? They used to tell us that our Bass Strait oil was no good. That was what they used to say back when they said, oh, no, you can't have that without this certain Saudi oil to mix the two and do. Well, bullshit. We got the best oil. Excuse me. We have the best oil in the world. And we got heaps of it, guys. We are being raped, pillaged, and plundered every day.
They're running even the headlines. Aussie is feeling the pinch, urged not to use heaters as cold weather sets in. And it's just like, well, what are they supposed to do? Just basically freeze? And then on top of it, now this handle here is Waltzing RN Lilydale. She's actually put together this, and it's from The Age. The Age has revealed that Australia's largest wind farm is one of two major Albanese government-backed and taxpayer-funded projects infiltrated by criminally linked companies as part of a ploy by Australian Workers Union. Figures out and it goes here. The firms with convict connections gained AWU backing to win lucrative work on the $4 billion Golden Plains Wind Farm project in Victoria, as well as the $300 million Centenary Bridge upgrade project in Brisbane. Now, it's shocking, isn't it, Dave? Imagine my surprise.
Surprise.
Imagine my surprise.
Man, nothing's a surprise, mate. How low can these people actually get into where they've sold our country off? You know what I mean? It's just bullshit, man.
Yeah, I know. But there's more people waking up as well. And even Madison King, she's actually gone down the Bob Hawke rabbit hole.
Those I need to go and research something moment. Well, I did that this morning. And I found out that Bob Hawke, before he became Prime Minister, was the president of a union. And it's quite interesting because him and Paul Keating are the very reason why manufacturing in this country closed down. See, Bob Hawke did a handshake deal with the union. Basically brought in the union to stop wages from rising, and in return the government promised to take care of the unions through Medicare and super. And that's where super came into play, thanks to Paul Keating. Paul Keating followed on that negotiation, and they both crippled manufacturing in this country, sent it all overseas, and we're in a position that we're in today thanks to Paul Keating and Bob Hawke. But then Johnny Howard was very quick to take your guns because he's seen that, okay, we can do this. So he did the absolute flip side. And he was also a part of the tax hole loopholes in Australia. So here it is. Take a read for yourself.
They've all done it to us right down the line. Each one of them was placed in succession to do the next piece of the puzzle, guys, why we were none the wiser as to what was happening. That's why they had to swap it from Labor to Liberal back there and do what they had to do to shuffle it around to keep everyone, you know what I mean, not knowing.
Well, that's it. You know, they've done this by design. We've talked about that often.
Yep.
But the thing is, it's what it suffers. Now, this is just terrible. Like, I mean, animal shelters struggle with influx of surrendered pets as owners face cost of living pressure. And that's because when they were home during the lockdown, they all thought, oh, we'll get a dog. Oh, we'll get a cat or something. And it was good because people were able to spend a lot of time with them and that sort of stuff. And now, and this is part of their sacrificial ritual, they would have known that this would have been, you know, they just love the death and destruction. It's just who they are. So
anyway. I think
there's
a big ritual. I think there's a big ritual going on with that Humer's wedding, you know, to Soros's son, because there's no photos, no nothing of the wedding, Caz. It's really fucking crazy too, man. It's like they had to have a big get together. You imagine all the names that were there. You know what I mean? But there was nothing out there, man. Nothing. There's pictures of some places, but no one's got a mobile phone. It was just like, you normally they'd be splitting that around, the elites and Hampton's not that big a place. I mean, it's a big mansion that they were in the Hamptons, but the Hamptons itself is not that big. Surely people would have got shots. There's nothing. There's nothing.
No, I know. There's a lot of stuff is just not making sense at the moment. There's also this situation as well where these Chinese scientists accused of smuggling biological matter into the USA will stay in jail. Now, when you actually get down here in the article, there was two, and the second one, it was actually, let me see if I can find it. I can't pre-highlight it. Sorry, guys, but so I have to look for it once I've done it. So Zhang's case is different. She is charged with conspiring with her boyfriend and other scientists from China to bring in toxic fungus into the US. Fusarium, I think it's gamma-rayum, can attack wheat, barley, maize, and rice. Interesting. And then you have, the staples, exactly. And then you have, which is really interesting when you look at what's going on in Australia at the moment, and like particularly what's going on with the farmers, it's just awful. So regional rate hikes as drought bites, and it's just like they're still charging the farmers more and more rates, and they've got no income. It's just crazy. And then you have this report by Two Worlds Collide.
In 2025. This is national suicide in real time. As reported by the Daily Mail, the numbers are out and they're worse than we thought. In the year to April, over 440,000 permanent and long-term migrants arrived in Australia. Let that sink in. Over 440,000 in just 4 months. That's more than 3,600 people every single day. And guess what? Labor's forecast, 335,000 for the entire year. We are getting lied to and played because we've already blown past that number by 100,000. Now, let's compare some numbers. Back in 2015, a decade ago, Australia took in 190,000 people across the whole year. In 2025, we've done more than double that in just 4 months. And now, the question nobody in power wants to answer. Why? Why are Western nations like Australia, Canada and the UK flooding themselves with mass immigration? Is it deliberate? Is this set up? Have we printed so much fake money that we now need endless population growth just to keep our GDP per capita from collapsing? Are we patching over a broken economy with importing people? Is this really about a skills shortage, or is it about hiding a deeper structural failure? I'll let you think about that one.
Well, and I'll tell you something.
Yeah, we just got taken down on a few Facebook channels.
Stop the Rot's Gone.
Stop the Rot's Gone. Can't get it up.
Matilda TV, guys.
Anyway, just letting you know, guys, we're going to be under attack. Okay, we are coming into the heated days of the war. The war on the truth versus the evil bullshit that we've been putting up with all our life.
Well, there is this story as well, which is very interesting. So California faces housing crisis. No one is buying homes. Now, isn't it interesting that when a whole heap of people are basically returned to where they're supposed to come from, there's there's an influx of homes available for people to buy and rent.
Mate, it's going to happen everywhere. They've got it well designed, all right? They're talking now, the West Coast, California, and this will be another reason, they're talking up this mile-wide volcano pretty heavy, Caz, you know what I mean? And that would really take out the West Coast. So California is right in its sights. So there's a lot going on over there.
There's a lot going on. This was caught by Derek Johnson. So Trump's cap. So if you actually look at his cap there, okay, you can actually see there's a close-up of it there, and it's kind of like a spearhead. And if you go into unconventional war, Sine Pari, I think it is, it's a pocket guide to unconventional warfare. That's actually the symbol for it. And GPQ caught this. Fox commentator just said military parades are held at the end, held after military victories. The war is over. The battle has been won. V for victory. Very, very interesting. Look, I know that everyone's divided. People have got different opinions on the Q movement, all that sort of stuff. But there is, and we know about Operation Trust. Okay, we absolutely know about that. But there's just so many things that Trump has actually, as far as the drops go, like we can't even cover them. Like we're just about everything at the moment is a comm and a drop, and it's all related.
And apparently SG Annan's just saying that the Canadian military's in control over there. So, yeah, look out. There's plenty happening.
Well,
guys.
I actually might be able to confirm that later on tonight. So, anyway, look, here's the thing too, is that this is UK vaccine chiefs suspend newly approved jab for over 65s, reports of 2 deaths and 21 severe reactions. Just 2. Okay. And then now I caught this, and it has not been confirmed, but this is Walter Curtin. He's claiming that Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, has been killed. So now nothing along, and Iran news has not put out that, but that's not surprising because I probably try and, just get an imposter to replace him because that's what they do. So, but very interesting all the same.
Yeah, they're going to try. And look, if they're set up, like Russia's set up to produce, like they got their, manufacturing plants ready, going already. And so, if we got Syria and that have been actually setting up and getting plants ready and going and that, this can go a little while, guys. The thing is, these weapons are so expensive. You're talking $1 million a shot, on some of these rockets, you know what I mean? And then to defend them, right, you're talking more money. Okay, so it's every time, this happens, it's just mega bucks, and it's your bucks they're spending, right? But they're spending it, and it's crucially expensive. It is insane, all right? But this is how they do their money laundering.
Well, just on the Iran war as well, it's interesting to note that they not only took out the nuclear facility, they also took out all of the top key players. And Michael Jaco did an interesting report on the weekend, and he stated that when he was in service, he was invited to a diplomat's house, and there he met a diplomatic wife who was Iranian. And she actually said, you don't need to go to Afghanistan to take out Al-Qaeda. If you want to get rid of all the terrorist groups, you just need to remove the Iranian leadership. So now we know that Ayatollah Khamenei came to power through a CIA coup, and then he basically backflipped on them and double-crossed them. So it is very interesting. And the other thing is, too, Tory says has been saying, watch Erdogan. Erdogan will be next, and Erdogan is, of course, the Prime Minister or President of Turkey. So we're living in very interesting times.
Oh, yeah. You can't keep up with it.
No, you can't keep up with it. No. So... all right. Look, one of the things that's great is we've got a lot of young people. This young girl follows us. Her name's Kesha, I think it is, or Kesha. And she's done a rap song called Welcome to Country. And she follows us at welcome. And, Dave, if you'd like to wrap up and close the show, I shall hit play.
Yeah. Yeah, well, look, guys, I don't get over to many channels. As you know, we got 15 of them. There's 4 Facebook sites out there. I think Guru, Aussie Insider, and different channels out there that were made as backup channels before, okay? But, I don't know what's going on with Stop the Rot tonight, but it's gone down. So if it has gone down, guys, it's it's Matilda TV. It's the other channels, which they're going to take eventually, okay? I think that's what they're going to try and do. But anyway, we persist. We keep moving on, guys. Welcome to another week of mayhem, all right? And we'll see if we can give you a little bit of clarity by the end of the week on what the hell's going on in your world. But remember that your world is here in Australia, and we're going to win back here, guys. So let's get in it. Let's get behind what Jodi's doing. Let's get behind the Forest of the Fallens, the cease and desist, right? Wade, Billboard, Battay, everybody that's doing something out there, guys. Now is the time to get together and push, okay? Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Shine, you made it.
Customs and a blind entry. Every one of your promises empty. Reconcile finance and banking. Why recompense what the government's taking? Transfer of land and property. Recognize all the lies and the mockery. Trademarks importing commodities. Usurp pathways of our sovereignty. Genocides televised. Children fighting to survive. Everybody's choosing sides while they watch all the youth die. Cultural Marxists on the rise. Taking over sovereign rights. It's the end game to divide. Mind programming on alive. Cultural fraud identity, it's giving dumb dog energy. Native police paid enemies, selling us out for our cemeteries. Cultural fraud identity, it's giving dumb dog energy. Native police paid enemies, selling us out for our cemeteries.